Individuals over 60 may unknowingly increase their risk of stroke during sleep due to a seemingly innocuous behavior. No notification. Absence of pain. One moment you are well. Subsequently, you may experience an inability to raise your arm, slurred speech, or loss of balance. As a neurologist, I have observed numerous elderly individuals experience this, not due to smoking, bad nutrition, or insufficient physical activity, but rather due to a factor they believed was beneficial. Vitamins. Indeed. Vitamins. Daily, millions of seniors consume supplements in the hope of safeguarding their bones, enhancing their energy, or maintaining cognitive acuity. Although many substances provide assistance, certain ones, particularly in elevated amounts or when used at inappropriate times, can insidiously jeopardize cerebral health. Today, I will elucidate 5 prevalent vitamins that could elevate your chance of stroke, cerebral hemorrhages, or hypertension, particularly during the early morning when your brain is most susceptible. This movie could potentially save your life if you have ever consumed vitamins D, E, B6, A, or niacin. Prior to commencing, I would appreciate knowing: have you ever contemplated whether your vitamins might be detrimental? Enter 1 in the comments if you wish to acquire further information. Input 0 if this is entirely unfamiliar to you. If brain health is important to you or a loved one, please like this video and subscribe to Elderly Wellness Hub for credible, science-based advice tailored for older individuals. Let us commence with the most astonishing of them, vitamin D. Ignorance of it may transform a restful night's sleep into a perilous experience. It is likely that you are aware of its benefits for bone health, mood enhancement, and immune system support. All of that is accurate, if it is in moderation. However, there is a fact that most seniors are seldom informed about. Excessive vitamin D intake, particularly when consumed at night, may subtly increase your risk of stroke. Although it may seem astonishing, I have observed it firsthand with my patients. Consider Mr. Walter, a 74-year-old retired Navy veteran. He was astute, diligent, and prioritized his health. Each morning, consistently, he arranged his pills, which included a 10,000 IU vitamin D capsule purchased over the counter. He assumed he was safeguarding his bones. However, he was unaware that this seemingly innocuous habit was gradually leading his body toward an impending catastrophe. One morning, his wife discovered him in a state of confusion. He was unable to articulate clearly. His right arm dangled feebly. A cerebrovascular accident. During the night, his laboratory results indicated perilously elevated calcium levels, rigid arteries, and erratic blood pressure. Who is the perpetrator? Toxicity of vitamin D. High amounts of vitamin D, particularly when taken without medical supervision, result in elevated calcium levels in the circulation. Your body is unable to process the excess calcium, resulting in its deposition within the arteries, so causing them to become rigid and constricted. Can you ascertain the potential consequences of that? A thrombus directly to your cerebral region. With advancing age, our arteries inherently diminish in flexibility, compounded by dehydration, inadequate sleep, and a nocturnal surge in calcium levels. You have generated an ideal environment for a stroke. What is the most frightening aspect? No warning indications are present. You retire for the night in a state of contentment, only to awaken with your existence irrevocably altered. Additionally, there is information you might be unaware of. Numerous over-the-counter vitamin D supplements in the U.S. contain significantly more than the requisite amount for older persons. $5,000 international units. $10,000 international units. Individuals use these daily, believing that an increased quantity is advantageous. However, research indicates that even a daily intake of 2000 IU may be excessive if one is not deficient. I will articulate this unequivocally. It is imperative to have your blood levels monitored periodically if you are consuming vitamin D, particularly in conjunction with calcium or cardiovascular drugs, and to provide it in the morning rather than before sleep. Are you aware of the quantity of IUs in your supplement? Enter D in the comments. If you are currently consuming vitamin D, let us initiate a discussion. If this prompted reconsideration, please like this video to assist others in discovering it as well. Should that astonish you, anticipate further revelations. The subsequent vitamin is commonly consumed for cardiovascular health. However, in older persons, it may result in a condition more perilous than a clot: a cerebral hemorrhage. Let us discuss vitamin E, frequently referred to as the cardiovascular aid. If you have been using it for years, you are not solitary. Numerous individuals over the age of 60 incorporate vitamin E into their regimen, anticipating its potential benefits for cardiovascular health, enhanced circulation, and possibly improved memory and skin condition. However, this is the aspect that is omitted from the bottle label. Excessive vitamin E intake, particularly when used alongside prevalent cardiovascular medicines, may elevate the risk of cerebral hemorrhage. Indeed, even when you are executing all actions correctly. I would like to recount an unforgettable story. Mrs. Evelyn Brooks, aged 81, is a retired librarian from Ohio. She was astute, clever, and perpetually held a book. She experienced a cardiac valve disorder and was prescribed warfarin, a prevalent anticoagulant. Her physicians meticulously observed all aspects. Her blood analysis was normal. Her blood pressure remained constant. One day, she acquired a bottle of natural vitamin E that she had seen promoted in a magazine. 800 international units per pill. She informed me that she believed it would enhance her memory and circulation. 3 weeks later, she was urgently sent to the emergency room due to an excruciating headache, disorientation, and emesis. A brain scan revealed a hemorrhagic stroke, indicating intracranial hemorrhage. Not due to hypertension, nor as a result of a fall, but rather because the interaction of warfarin and elevated doses of vitamin E had rendered her blood excessively anticoagulated. Only a single delicate vessel in her brain ruptured. What the majority of individuals fail to comprehend: high concentrations of vitamin E function as a natural anticoagulant. It inhibits coagulation. Adding vitamin E to a regimen that includes aspirin, Plavix, or any anticoagulant increases the risk of internal bleeding, particularly in the brain, where even a minor hemorrhage can impair your speech, memory, or mobility. Furthermore, consider this. The advised daily consumption for elderly individuals is about 15 milligrams, around 22 IU. However, the majority of supplements available in retail outlets contain 200, 400, or even 1000 IU each capsule. There are no warnings or consultations, and numerous individuals consume them daily for years. Mrs. Evelyn endured, however she now ambulates with a cane. Her short-term memory was permanently altered. She expressed through tears, "I merely sought to assist myself. I was unaware of causing harm." That is the aspect that profoundly saddens me. Due of her lack of solitude. Many seniors believe that if a substance is classified as a vitamin, it is inherently harmless. However, the reality is that not all vitamins are safe, particularly for individuals on heart or blood pressure medications. Consult your physician prior to introducing any new elements. In addition to the alarming prospect of a brain bleed, there exists another vitamin, commonly consumed for nerve support and vitality, that can insidiously harm your nerves, potentially resulting in permanent damage. Let us discuss vitamin B6. Vitamin B6, commonly designated as a nerve support or cognitive enhancer. You may have encountered it in pharmacy bottles, asserting to enhance energy, concentration, or memory. Perhaps someone has informed you that it is beneficial for aging nerves. However, most elders are not cautioned about this. Excessive vitamin B6 intake can cause nerve injury, potentially resulting in lasting effects. Allow me to introduce Mr. Harold Jenkins. He was 76 years old, a retired truck driver hailing from Kansas. He entered my clinic due to numbness in his feet, tingling in his hands, and impaired balance. Initially, he believed it was merely a consequence of aging. Subsequently, he began to descend. Initially once, subsequently again. On the third occasion, he struck his head against the restroom floor. Upon examining his supplements, I immediately identified the problem. He had been using a nerve support supplement for more than a year. The label indicated it promoted cognitive function and circulation. However, within each tablet, 100 milligrams of vitamin B6. He was consuming 2 pills daily. The dosage is 200 milligrams per day, exceeding the suggested safe upper limit for seniors by more than tenfold. Now, here is the alarming aspect. In contrast to several vitamins that are excreted in urine, B6 accumulates in the body over time. In elderly adults, it can impair the protective sheath around the nerves, akin to removing insulation from a wire. What is the outcome? Paresthesia, insensibility, myasthenia, seismic vibrations, including confusion or memory impairments. The symptoms manifest gradually. A multitude of individuals believe it to be arthritis, or senescence, or early-onset dementia. However, it may indeed be B6 toxicity, a gradual, avoidable form of nerve injury induced by a medication intended for assistance. It can become irreversible if not detected promptly. Mr. Jenkins was fortunate. We discontinued the supplement, and the deterioration did not progress. However, he continues to utilize a cane. He no longer operates a vehicle. He stated, "I merely sought to safeguard my intellect. I was unaware that I was contaminating it." Let us clarify. Vitamin B6 is essential, even in minimal quantities. Older folks require approximately 2 to 10 milligrams daily. This includes the nutrients obtained from eating. Numerous cognitive enhancement supplements available online or at retail outlets contain dosages of 50, 100, or even 200 milligrams. That is not merely superfluous. It is perilous. If you are consuming any supplement labeled for nerve, brain, or energy support, examine the label carefully. Understand your numerical data. Please enter B6 in the comments if you have consumed a supplement of that nature, or is acquainted with someone who has. You may be considering that certain vitamins, such as A, are likely safe. It pertains solely to vision, correct? Not precisely. Let us discuss vitamin A. Many older folks are likely aware that vitamin A is crucial for optimal vision. You may have consumed it for your immune system, skin health, or due to recommendations suggesting it promotes graceful aging. However, this is information that is seldom disclosed, particularly if you are over the age of 60. Excessive vitamin A does not remain inert within your body. It accumulates. Over time, it can elevate intracranial pressure, simulating a stroke, impairing eyesight, and perhaps harming cerebral function. I would like to introduce Ms. Dorothy Simmons. She was 79 years old, a retired piano instructor from Oregon. She cherished music, instructed students from her residence, and valued her independence. However, one day, she began experiencing headaches. Subsequently, hazy vision ensued. Subsequently, the vertigo. Additionally, the impaired articulation. Her family dreaded the worst unfavorable outcome: a cerebrovascular accident. However, upon conducting her scans, an unexpected finding emerged. Absence of clot. Absence of hemorrhage. Rather, she exhibited raised intracranial pressure. Excessive intracranial pressure. Her cerebrospinal fluid was congested. Minuscule veins in her brain were experiencing strain. What is the cause? Toxicity of vitamin A. She had been consuming a high-dose skin and eye supplement for more than 5 years, over 10,000 IU daily, consistently, without her awareness. The principal distinction is as follows. Vitamin A is lipophilic. This indicates that your body retains it within your liver, tissues, and possibly your brain. It does not excrete as readily as vitamin C or B. As we age, hepatic function diminishes, resulting in accelerated accumulation. Excessive vitamin A in the body can result in a condition known as pseudotumor cerebri, which mimics a brain tumor. What are the symptoms? Cephalalgias. Diplopia or visual distortion. Vertigo. Queasiness. Potential irreversible eyesight impairment or cognitive deterioration. The challenging aspect? Numerous multivitamins already include the complete recommended dosage of vitamin A. However, certain individuals, such as Ms. D, inadvertently exacerbate this issue by layering skin, eye, or anti-aging formulations. What is the safe upper limit for elderly individuals? Approximately 2,500 to 3,000 IU daily, contingent upon necessity and under medical care. However, numerous pills available online offer 5,000 to 10,000 IU or higher. When consumed every day for months or years, the accumulation of harm becomes evident. Ms. is gradually recuperating, nevertheless. She now requires routine eye examinations, pressure assessments, and balancing therapy. She informed me that she believed she was benefiting her physique. I never anticipated it could cause cerebral discomfort. That is the reason I disseminate her narrative. It is not intended to instill fear in anyone. It is essential to ensure you possess the facts to safeguard your autonomy and well-being. If you considered eyesight supplements to be perilous, anticipate the consequences when a vitamin intended for cholesterol and cardiovascular health unexpectedly elevates your blood pressure. Let us discuss niacin, often known as vitamin B3, a vitamin that you may have consumed or been advised to take for cardiovascular health. Niacin, commonly referred to as vitamin B3. It is frequently lauded as a natural method for reducing cholesterol levels. Certain physicians even recommend it. It is also present in cardiovascular health products, dietary supplements, energy beverages, and enriched cereals. However, this aspect is frequently omitted from discussions, particularly with elderly persons. Elevated dosages of niacin can silently induce significant fluctuations in blood pressure and perhaps precipitate a stroke. I would like to present Mr. Frank Miller. He is 82 years old and a retired postal worker from Florida. He presented with an unusual combination of symptoms: facial heat flashes, a throbbing sensation in his chest, and intermittent dizziness each morning. His spouse believed it was anxiousness. His kid attributed it to his antihypertensive medication. However, what is the actual cause? An oversight that had not been considered by anyone. Dennis had been consuming an over-the-counter cardiovascular vitamin. The front label indicated support for cholesterol levels and circulation. The rear? 1,000 milligrams of niacin per serving. He was administering it bi-daily. That constitutes 2,000 every day. exceeding the requirements of most seniors by nearly 60 times. Here are the effects of high-dose niacin use. It induces a rapid dilation of your blood vessels, resulting in facial flushing or warmth. However, shortly thereafter, the identical vessels recoil and constrict. The abrupt constriction might elevate blood pressure, strain the heart, and diminish cerebral blood flow. This yo-yo effect over time resembles striking delicate glass with a hammer. Ultimately, a breaking point is reached. Dennis experienced a transient ischemic attack, TIA, commonly referred to as a mini-stroke. His speech was garbled for 2 minutes before returning to normal. He believed it was a coincidence. I had to convey the difficult truth to him. His daily pill, intended to benefit his heart, was insidiously damaging his brain. He is not solitary. Numerous elderly consume high-dose niacin unknowingly. They purchase flush-free or extended-release formulations online, believing it to be safer. However, those variants may still elevate blood pressure, induce atrial fibrillation, and influence blood glucose levels. Here is the essential information you require. For older persons, any intake above 50 mg of niacin per day should be administered solely under physician supervision. If you have hypertension, arrhythmias, or are taking medication, carefully examine your labels. Dennis has discontinued niacin. He is recuperating. No enduring harm. However, he imparted a message that I shall not forget. Doctor, I believed I was adhering to all the correct protocols. I was unaware that I was risking my cognitive faculties. Having examined 5 prevalent vitamins that might insidiously damage the brain, you may be wondering what alternatives to consider. Alternatively, what should I consume? Let us discuss genuine nutrition, the type that safeguards your brain without associated hazards. You may be contemplating what alternatives to pursue if these vitamins pose potential risks. That is an excellent inquiry. Your body was not intended to function on pharmaceuticals. It was designed to flourish on natural sustenance. Whole, natural, nutrient-dense food that your brain identifies, assimilates, and utilizes in optimal quantities. I would like to introduce Mrs. Margaret Wilson. She is 73 years old and a retired school principal from Arizona. Upon our initial encounter, she revealed a drawer brimming with pills. Vitamin D for skeletal health, vitamin E for cardiovascular function, B-complex for energy metabolism, niacin for lipid regulation, a multivitamin, and other supplements for cognitive support. I am adhering to all prescribed protocols, doctor, she stated. However, she experienced dizziness in the mornings. Her equilibrium was impaired. Her blood pressure continued to rise. There was a discrepancy. We undertook a radical initiative. We eliminated the disarray. Individually, we removed the tablets and substituted them with meals. There is no miraculous diet. No elaborate program. Only uncomplicated, unprocessed foods, consumed at optimal times. And in appropriate combinations. This is the appearance of her breakfast. 1 boiled egg for protein, half an avocado for healthy fats, a slice of whole grain toast for sustained energy, a handful of blueberries for antioxidants, and a glass of room temperature water for hydration. Occasionally, she incorporated a handful of walnuts or almonds. That is all. Prohibit powders. Absence of medication. Merely sustenance. Authentic, identifiable, sustenance providing. In a matter of weeks, Maggie observed a change. Her vertigo subsided. Her blood pressure normalized. Her vitality was restored. She expressed that her thinking felt more lucid than it has in years. This is the rationale behind its success. The brain requires hydration, healthy fats, continuous energy, and vitamins in their natural state. It does not require megadoses. It requires equilibrium. Optimal diets for older individuals encompass leafy greens, such as spinach and kale, which are abundant in folate and antioxidants, as well as fatty fish, like salmon and sardines, which are rich in omega-3 fatty acids that safeguard brain cells. Berries contain polyphenol that mitigate inflammation. Nuts and seeds include vitamin E, magnesium, and beneficial fats for cognitive health. Whole grains to maintain steady blood sugar levels and enhance circulation. Furthermore, these meals offer protection beyond merely safeguarding your brain. They bolster your cardiovascular health, skeletal structure, emotional well-being, and physical mobility. You are not merely consuming food. Each bite contributes to your recuperation. Ultimate awakening notification. Awareness constitutes the most effective remedy. At this juncture in life, each decision holds greater significance. Ultimately, it is not the medications you consume, but your comprehension of them that genuinely safeguards you. Your body at 60, 70, or 80 metabolizes vitamins differently than it did in previous decades. Even ostensibly beneficial practices, such as vitamin supplementation, can inadvertently yield adverse effects if one is not vigilant. Consequently, awareness serves as your most potent remedy. Vitamins should not be feared, but they must be respected. Examine the labels. Consult your physician. Heed the signals of your body, particularly when it murmurs. If any aspect of this video resonated with you, please share in the comments. What modification will you implement beginning tomorrow? If you found this beneficial, please like it to assist others in discovering it as well. Kindly subscribe to Elderly Wellness Hub to facilitate our collective learning, growth, and resilience. You are not solitary in this endeavor. One is never too advanced in age to reclaim authority over one's health.